The Business Owners Podcast is brought to you by Business and Enover Group with your hosts, Linda Reid Enover and Clive Enover. In each episode, we talk to other business owners about their experiences, challenges, and successes. We'll also share tips and advice on how to grow your business and achieve your goals. If you're a business owner or you're thinking about starting a business, then the Business Owners Podcast is for you.
Hi everyone, I'm Linda Reid Enover and welcome back to the Business Owners Podcast along with Clive Enover. Clive, would you like to say hi to everyone?
Hello all.
I am your host and we bring to you amazing stories from business owners just like yourself and also industry experts along the way. And today we're being joined by Kaitlyn Cook. Kaitlyn is an industry expert when it comes to growth. She was Australia's number 2 entrepreneur at just 26. She's now in the UK and we are looking forward to having an amazing conversation with Kaitlyn today. So jump on in and let's get started and let's hear a little bit about Kaitlyn's journey. Kaitlyn, would you like to say hi to our group and hi to our community and tell us just a little bit about you and what got you to where you are so far?
Hello, everyone. It's lovely to be here. My story actually goes way back when I was 6 and I decided that I loved Monopoly. I played Monopoly and I was like, this is the coolest game in the world. I was always the banker and I was like, I want to work in a bank. That's the thing. That was my dream job. And at 18, I worked at the bank and it was the best thing I ever did. And then when I turned 26, I had a quarter life crisis and I decided I no longer wanted to work in the bank. I wanted to change my life completely because I was miserable. So I took a career break and I moved to the other side of the world because why not change everything if you've got nothing? So I sold my house, sold my shares, moved over to the UK, and I met my now fiance. And then I built my own business after learning everything for so many years on, how to build a business from the strategy side. But then I really understood on my own journey, the mindset, the internals, the, becoming someone new, being able to grow a business. And I learned all that. And so I coach people worldwide on how to do that now. And it's an incredible journey of growth and consistency.
Love the words growth and consistency because Clive talks very much about growth and I talk about consistently showing up. So it's a great conversation. So Kaitlyn, you were number 2 business specialist here in Australia and a quarter life crisis. I feel you. I feel like I've gone through that journey many times and I'm sure, Clive, you can agree inside this space that there has been many iterations you've had along the way in this journey.
Change or 3 along the way and learning. I'm intrigued that Kaitlyn discovered that strategy is strategy and you need other things. Why isn't strategy enough to build a business?
Because strategy doesn't go into the moments and the steps in between the strategy. So when I was working in the bank and I was number 2 specialist, and I was number 2 specialist because of the people's results that I worked with, because I really kept in touch with where they are, where they were going. But every time I gave somebody a really simple strategy of, if you wanted to market your business, you did this. If you wanted to grow, you did this. But 9 out of 10 times they actually didn't follow the strategy. And that question bugged me for years. I was like, why not? Why do they not follow the strategy that's going to yield the success they're after? And then I started my own business and I was like, oh, it's because the strategy is a piece of paper, which is such a simple method to follow. Yet in between each step, there's the fear. There's the limiting beliefs. There's I'm not that person who can do that. I could never do that. It's all intertwined. And it's this depth of self-awareness I didn't realize was there until I walked the journey. And so now I come with it very relatable that strategy is easy, but it's being able to guide somebody between all of those steps in between that creates sustainable long-term success.
Absolutely. There's all sorts of things that keep popping up at us. So how does one balance risk and opportunity when making decisions about their business?
I'm very much about self-awareness. So you have to be aware enough to know your risk tolerance. So other people will tell you what risk you should take and everything, but if you don't have the capacity to take on that risk and back yourself, that's not a good option. But I am very much a believer in there's a lot of risk in business, so you've got to back yourself. So if you're somebody who's never taken risk and you don't know how to, learn how to back yourself. So it starts with those decisions of, if you say you're going to do something, do it. So it's this self-leadership that comes in with that as well. But risk to me has now become one of the greatest things I've ever done. I've learned how to jump out of a plane and build a parachute on the way down. And it yields incredible results. But at the start, I know it's very difficult if you've never done it before.
I think for a lot of our listeners inside this space, and they are business owners that quite often have not got into business because they wanted to know the marketing, know the risk analysis, know the fear, know the process. And even myself, like I came from very similar to Kaitlyn, being a troubleshooter, being in the corporate PR and marketing world. Like I knew how to think on my feet and do all of that sort of stuff. But there was those bits that pop up in the business journey that you go, but I can't do that bit, or I can't do that bit. And even I'm just off the top of my head right now about to submit a speaker application for a topic that I know I can speak on, but I'm like, oh, does this audience really want me? And how many years am I into this, Clive, now?
Yeah.
Business turned 11, and we started in entrepreneurship and that sort of stuff back in 2001. It's ridiculous to think that it still pops into that world. That brings me to my question on the list. Does positive thinking, when we're going through these journeys, is that the bit that we're missing, or what do we need to also be putting into these in-between steps to help us along the way?
Oh, I love that question. If you can't already tell, I'm quite an optimistic, positive person. Haven't always been, but I am now. But I don't believe positive thinking is the answer. I believe awareness of what you're thinking is the answer, and feeling. So it's not, I'm just going to be positive, I'm just going to be happy. Because I tried that and I was miserable, and it just made me frustrated that I didn't feel better than I thought I should have. So it's meeting yourself where you are. So it's like, if you're scared, if there's imposter syndrome, if you're going to present us to do a speech and you're just like, actually right now I'm feeling scared. Why am I feeling scared? Feeling scared because I don't feel like I'm able to do it. Why not? And then you find the evidence of how you can do it. If you're just going, I can do it, I'm going to be great. But inside, internally, your nervous system is screaming, going, you're not okay. That's never going to work. But then you do get to a point when you practice understanding how you're feeling enough, and then have that inner dialogue, that you can ramp up the positive thinking. So, which creates a compounding effect of positivity. But you really need to know where you are first and have a conversation of what's at the back of this, what's behind this. A lot of time it's fear. And there's a story playing on in the background as to why we're the person who can't do that. So then it's changing that narrative.
And given we've got all this positive thinking, we've got all our strategy, we've got all our activities planned out, we know exactly what we need to do, why is it that so many get stuck and find themselves unable to change that?
Because as much as everybody wants a controlled roadmap of the exact steps it's going to take in order to achieve exactly what it is that they're going to achieve, they're going to be uncomfortable. And that is the moment where they feel stuck, because they're stuck in the discomfort of being in an unknown territory. So whenever someone comes to me, they go, Kaitlyn, I'm stuck. I'm like, you're stuck because you're not letting yourself feel the fear. You're not letting yourself feel what would it be like if you failed, and complete that conversation. So it's very much about understanding that you can't control it all. And believe me, I went through it today. I had a conversation with my fiance, and I'm like, I'm frustrated. He's like, why? I'm like, because I've got the strategy and I'm doing the steps, but I still can't control it all. And it's annoying me because I want to control it. And he's like, you can't. So I was like, just going to read my book and go for a walk. And it's being able to go, you know what, you can control a certain amount of things. And then some things you can't, and it's okay. And it's kind of how it's supposed to be, because who you are today will be different than when you take the next step. So you cannot predict everything. The moments you'll feel good, the moments you'll feel bad. But it's being able to back yourself to go, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Why? And question it.
So change is an ongoing and necessary thing.
Very much. Hence why I moved to the other side of the world and took a career break when I was at the height of my career. Because we need change. We need change to grow. If there's no change, there's no growth. And your business, you are your business. If you are not willing to change, your business will not change. So people come to me and they're like, my business is stuck. My revenue is the same as it has been. I'm like, it's because you're stuck. You're doing the same things you've always done. But yeah, you're wanting growth, so you need to change.
100% agree with that. And that really ties into the same world with marketing. I know Clive will see it in the business strategy component. But I want to do it this way. And I'm like, that's lovely. But if we continue to do it this way, we don't open up numbers of areas. And I just recorded a podcast. Don't think it's gone live yet, which is Not All Marketing is Social Media. Maybe we can go back occasionally to some of our traditional roots and tap into some of those things that are going on the way. So, Kaitlyn, I want to ask you a question. I know I'm going to throw you on the spot here, but we've got listeners that are out there today and they're stuck. Can we give them 3 steps that they could do just to get a little bit unstuck? It's just an activity that they can do to help move them through that process.
So I'm going to talk about the external and the internal. The external is the strategy and the internal is how they're feeling. So they're stuck emotionally. So when somebody's stuck, to me, I first look at the vision. Where are they actually trying to go? Because if you're stuck, you're not moving. If you're not moving, tends to be because you don't know where you're trying to go. So if you get clear on your vision, where are you actually trying to go? Conceptualize it. Put the pieces together. What does it look like? What's the end goal? And then you take that micro action step towards it. If again, you're still stuck and you're unable to take the action step, there's fear. And the way you'll know there's fear is because your mind is chaos. And by chaos, I mean you're spiraling and you're adding anger onto the fear and you're adding guilt onto it and you're going around in circles, then your body's feeling dysregulated. So if that's the case, what I find is people run away from that. And if you're running away from that, you're running away from a lot of other things in your business. So it's actually not running away, but just taking a deep breath and just like allowing the fear to be there. Don't run away from it, just embrace it, because fear means there's change, which is a really good thing. But we get so scared of the fear and feeling the fear that stops us in our tracks. And then we can't think beyond that moment. Soon as you are able to embrace that fear by just putting awareness on it, so taking 3 deep breaths and just going, cool, where's the fear in my body? And just opening it up, that allows your body to process it. And it takes 90 seconds to process an emotion. That's it. So if you're giving yourself 90 seconds to process an emotion, your mind will start to calm down, your body will calm down, and then you can take the micro action step towards the goal you're wanting to get to. So in terms of the tangibility, write exactly what it is you're trying to get to. What is your goal? Where are you trying to go? And then give yourself 3 deep breaths and just focus in on the fear, regulate your body back, and then take an action step, because action helps dissipate the fear in your body because it gives you the confidence that you can take action despite the fear.
I love it. It's a great way to be able to do it. I think that's a really good thing that we don't actually allow ourselves to feel the fear within that comes before change. And as you said, it's 90 seconds to regulate and feel that emotion. So for mine, particularly my membership community out there, you remember when I tell you just to write things down and dump it all on a piece of paper and then move through the next thing you can move through? That's your processing. So Kaitlyn, I appreciate that because it's going to help my membership community back up quite well inside that zone. So I have a question for you from a marketing angle right now. What's your favorite way? Because we love to ask just a couple of questions that get in this space. What's your favorite way to market your business right now?
I love videos. I love doing YouTube videos. That brings me so much joy and so much just purpose. So I purely, I do YouTube videos, but I'm going to be honest with you. My business has made over $1 million without social media or a website. Yep. So it's only been this year that I've actually started social media. So I'm actually in the learning realm of social media. And so previously my marketing strategy was word of mouth because I have such a connection and care for my clients. It was very much word of mouth, which I still think is the most beautiful way to market a business.
Absolutely. And proof that traditional strategies still work along that way. Fantastic. Clive, have you got another question there for Kaitlyn?
Yes. A person new in business often finds themselves stuck, sometimes through fear. There's always fear in the background, but caught between this or that. How do you help people focus on the right avenue given industry trends?
So if somebody's stuck and they're like, I can do option A or option B, which one will I take? I always expand beyond just the business realm because, again, you are your business. So what is the lifestyle you're actually wanting? How do you want your life to be? Do you want to be working 12 hours a day doing a certain thing? Do you want to work 4 hours a day? That's going to dictate how much you need to be in the business to grow it. Do you want to set it up to sell it? What is it that you're wanting? When it comes to trends, I'm a bit different. I've never actually been in the industry trends. I don't look at that. I look at the person's strengths. I look at their own unique strengths within their own personality and what skill set they have. And based off of that, I then will go, these are the best avenues and expansion plans for you, especially if they're just starting. All they need to do is start, and then they will figure it out as they go. So especially if you're just starting, to any listeners out there, collaborate with other people. Because before you go full in on your business, before you invest a lot of money into it and then go, actually, I don't want that, you collaborate with other people, which allows you to understand what you like, what you don't like. Because a lot of times we get excited because there's shiny object syndrome. And we're like, I should do it this way. Like for me, when I started, I was like, I'm going to write a blog and it's going to be a travel article. I didn't like writing blogs. I didn't like being on social media. So within 2 weeks, it failed. But I was like, okay, cool, I tried it. That's fine. But you just need to try when you're in business, and trying with somebody else, collaborating with somebody else, gives you that strength to keep going and the accountability to keep moving forward.
Really good idea. And essentially, I take from that what you like to focus on is what's the goal somebody wants to achieve? Where are you now? What's the best path between?
Because the best path isn't always the quickest path. That's also the thing.
Yeah,
so
true.
people need to understand, because a lot of people come to me and they go, I want to make $1 million in a year. And I'm like, okay, why? Normally if somebody wants to grow that quick, it's because they don't like where they are. So it's very much asking those particular questions. But every road will lead to different learnings, to different fear. No road will ever have no fear. You won't ever not learn something, but it's what's your big why? I read Simon Sinek's It Starts With Why, and my entire business model shifted from that book. Because if you don't have a big enough why when you're starting a business, it's just going to be all fluff, especially if you're following a trend. People are like, I need to have this because this is what they're doing. There's no depth to it. It's just surface. Meaning when it dips, ebbs and flows, they will do the same with it. But really understanding what is why with this particular business. So for me, when I started, it was being able to stay with my partner, and now it's being a mother and having a lifestyle for them. They drive the growth of my business.
And as Friedrich Nietzsche said, anyone who has a why can withstand any how.
Because a lot of the time, the how does not look how you think it's going to look.
Yeah, so true. Okay, Kaitlyn, there's a couple of other questions that we always ask our guests. Are you a tea or coffee drinker?
Oh my
Or
God,
both?
coffee. Coffee's my love.
Beautiful, fantastic. Morning person or night owl?
Morning person.
Fantastic. And if you had to travel anywhere tomorrow at the drop of a hat, where would you go?
Australia.
Come home to us.
I'd come home.
And what's the most important thing about Australia?
My family is there. And meat pies. I really miss meat pies.
The pork pie in the UK does not cover it.
No, God, no. No, it's not the same. They have mince pies, which I thought was the same in Australia. It's not. It's not.
Oh,
Yeah. But anyway.
very disappointing.
Yes, very.
Kaitlyn, is there one final tip that you would like to leave our listeners with today that will help them move forward and gain momentum?
Yes. You are your business. So you can create and you can grow any business you want, but it starts with you. So you need to be willing to grow. So if you're scared and you're stuck, go and do something challenging. When I was scared and stuck, I did CrossFit and it scared me and it still does, but I moved more in my business than I had in a very long time. And you can do this. You can achieve what you want. Just keep walking the path. You got this. You can do this.
Clive, I think you would agree with this with Kaitlyn. There are things outside of business, and I think lots of our listeners think they need to be living and breathing their business all of that time. Because I know that this is an area you love to chat on as well, have you got one final tip for our listeners today about being unstuck and moving forward in business?
Yes, and it in fact goes back to what Kaitlyn was saying earlier. The first thing we want to know is where are you going? Then we want to know why you're going there. And then we want to find out where the hell are you now? Then you find out the path between, and goodness, it's not as far as I thought. Will you still run into obstacles? There's only one time we stop running into obstacles, and that's when you're not alive. So there will always be obstacles. Why? Because obstacles are what allow us to learn. And what's the frightening thing about change? It's different. Get used to it.
And I chose an industry that changes constantly.
You really have.
So the world of marketing is fun. One thing I would like to leave everyone on today is the tip and the keynote that Kaitlyn was talking about, trends. We can follow, and especially if you're looking at marketing and you're looking at social media marketing, there is always trends and there is buzzwords out there. And I saw the most beautiful Facebook post the other day that spoke that social media has taken us to an area where 20 likes or 20 compliments or 20 comments is now a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. If they are the right people in your audience, if they are the people that you want to engage with, those 20 people are a lot better than 2,000 or 200,000 that you have to cut through noise who were never interested in engaging with you in the past. So be you. Do what you need to do within your business and get unstuck. And I thank you, Kaitlyn, for joining us. Can you tell our people where they can find you, how they can connect with you?
Yeah, certainly. So you can find me on YouTube at Grow with Kaitlyn with a K. And also my Instagram is kaitlyncook.co and my LinkedIn is Kaitlyn Cook.
Fantastic. We will include all of those links with the podcast. Clyde, have you got anything finally you would like to say to our members and community?
Yes, all of the listeners, please find yourself somebody like Kaitlyn, a business strategist. Get the clear ideas on how to go about achieving what it is that you want and stop the procrastination. Because if we move forward, surprisingly enough, the universe will actually get down and help us. So move forward, get somebody to help, show you that change is a wonderful thing as long as you're in charge of it, and move forward.
Okay, guys. So with that, let's take a micro action at the end of this podcast. You could even like and subscribe and follow so you make sure that you actually get more notifications about the podcast, or just take a movement to get yourself unstuck along the way. Until next time, thank you for listening, and we'll be back with future episodes of the Business Owners Podcast. We look forward to sharing stories, and if you wish to apply to be on the Business Owners Podcast, head over to our page on the Business website, and you'll be able to connect and do so.
Thanks for listening to the Business Owners Podcast. We encourage you to connect with us on social media and join our community of business owners at businessbusinessbusiness.com.au.
A PSA from Instacart. It's Sunday, 5 p.m. You had a non-stop weekend. You're running on empty, and so is your fridge. You're in the trenches of the Sunday scaries. You don't have it in you to go to the store, but this is your reminder. You don't have to. You can get everything you need delivered through Instacart so that you can get what you really need, more time to do whatever you want. Instacart, for one less Sunday scary. We're here.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip: when it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.